Okay, we're in front of Hypersonic 2. This is the second Hypersonic we've had from Steinberg, and this one's really great. They've given us some really good features that we've been waiting for, and they've done a great job. One of the first features I really love is that Hypersonic 2 now is a standalone unit. I don't have to use it inside my hosting program or my sequencer, so that's a really great feature. All you do is switch it on, it comes up, assign the MIDI keyboard that you want to use and the audio output, and you're done. It even gives you a sound straight away, so you know it's working. And you can go right to the loader here, which is, you can see the button icon here that's illuminated, says load, and these are the patches, and there's a lot of them. It ships with some 1800 patches, and then you can go into the each subcategory and get the ones inside. So ultrasynth opens up, and we can see that there's a lot more sounds, and I can just go and click one. And we can edit this by just pressing the editor if we want to tweak anything. Lots of knobs and switches now. We can go into different parts and change them and stuff like that. So if you're a tweaker, you're going to love it. If you just want to get a fat sound and you want to get an instant sound, it's got that too. So here we got lots of knobs and switches, and you can actually click on here and say, hey, I want a controller to move that. If you know what controller you want to use, that's okay. If you don't know, you just hit learn, move your slider, and guess what? Your slider on your control keyboard now controls the software. Nice and easy. This one says it's using poly with some sort of filter sweep, so I guess it's it's being soft filtered. And I can actually hear that it changes depending on how hard I strike, and probably aftertouch as well. Let's try it. Yeah, so it's got lots of sound control there straight away for me. Moving on, I can see there's different things here I never had before. Tone wheel module. And we've got lots of presets. We can go, here's one that says whiter shade. I suppose it's whiter shade of pale, I guess. Whiter shade of you is obviously their name for it. And again, we can hit the editor, and now we see a brand new module that we haven't seen before, the NB3, which is the virtual tone wheel organ. Lots of sliders we can pull out here, just like the original drawbar. We can say I want a different types of sound or whatever. And you can kind of change it around, move it around as much as you feel fit. Again, you can use your controller to control the different parameters on the screen there. Underneath here, there's some new windows which just seem to have changed, and it says things like rotor speed, tube drive, and so on. And again, if you want to change these from keyboards or controllers, you can just hit your learn switch, move something, and there we go. We're now using the foot switch here. Actually, I pressed to move the rotor speed. And obviously that's going to give us, and I guess it's meant for the song Whiter Shade, so that sort of thing. Really clever. So going through the loader again, let's go back and see what else we got. And I can see there's things called phrases. Never had that before, so we can look in here and we can see instantly there's lots of phrases. Now if we pick one of these, a phrase is basically like an arpeggiator, but it's phrase arpeggiation, so you can actually have lots of different ways. I'll show you that. So it says here that on the left hand side it says it's a picked steel string, hold a single note. Now that's playing a really kind of groove pattern of a picked guitar there, but obviously I'm not playing that whole pattern, I'm just holding the key. So now if I move key, obviously it changes. Now if I want to see what's going on here, I can actually again press the edit switch, and that will give us a window now where we can see what's going on. It says arpeggiator is on, and it's using a mode called phrase, and I can see the phrase down here is called pick number 11, and we can open up this and say, wow, there's a lot of different types of pattern. Now right down the bottom here there's a new thing, import MIDI. We actually can import a piece of MIDI that we're writing in our sequencer straight into the Hypersonic panel to create those phrases if we want an exact phrase and we want a certain synth sound to use that phrase. Great feature. So let's move on here. Running out of time on this demo, so we'll jump to some different things. It's got great new drum sounds. Look at these. So you got lots of new features. It really is a great sound. I don't know what it sounds like on your PC here, because obviously it's different, but in my headphones it sounds great. Down here we've got other things. There's electric pianos. I guess they're all those soft pianos, and it says here's a warm vintage electric piano chorus and phaser, and so on. So it gives you instructions more or less to use every single preset. So this is a nice sort of belly type toned preset, and it really responds well. Yep, great one. And we can move around again. Let's move on to the next sounds. So we got here so many to show you, but I'm just going to have to pick a few. Here's a guitar patches. This is interesting. On the right hand side of the patch name, it has words like XXL and MIDI. Now XXL means it's using an awful lot of samples, and if your PC isn't, or your Mac isn't a very fast one, you may want to switch to the smaller version, the MID, and that will just free you up a bit more CPU just if you don't have enough. Well, nylon pick, let's try that baby out. Now underneath here, it's got some new changes I can see. It says things like fret volumes. Now the frets, when I've tried this out before, that's the sound of the strings squeaking as the fingers move up to change. And it doesn't come in everywhere. It just comes into in places where it would normally come from if you move from a high neck position to a low neck position, and so on. Let's try this out. It just sounds great. It's got really lots of tone. Really great, and you can hear the squeaks, so really authentic sounding. Let's move on a bit here. What else we got? Moving down to the more orchestral voices, brass voices, and so on. Soundscapes, technos. Here's another one we didn't have before, arpeggios. We can go in there and it says, look, B classic, and that's a classic arpeggiator. Now it's obviously using the arpeggio panel on a certain sound, so we'll hear what that sounds like. We're just playing a chord. Yep, that's great sounds. Moving on, so you can see there's lots of patches. What else we got here? There's things called moving pads. We can switch those on and see what they do. So all in all, a great product. Obviously on the left hand side here, if you want to put 16 patches and link them together, very easy to do. You just press the small arrow, it links it to the first one. So if this was MIDI channel 1, it would pass the second sound into it. Now when you've done that, you can save those as combis, and they've got a great feature for that. Inside here you can see the little numbers with the combis, and you can obviously move around and say, well, I want that one, I want this one. You can see on the left they're changing completely. This one's called Filmscape, and it gives you a kind of... And you can hear the sort of drum sounds and stuff going on in the patch. Now, if I was a synth player, though, I really wouldn't want to be using my mouse to control these patches here, because it's just too cumbersome, and I really just want to play. So they've got a next button here, and the great thing about this next button is you can control it from somewhere else. So I could say, you know, I want to use my modulation wheel, or I want to use a general purpose button, or maybe even my sustain pedal. So I can say, well, I just moved next from a sustain pedal. How about this one? We can go over here and say, how about we go back up with another control? So there's really lots of great features there, and if I obviously click my sustain pedal, it moves the patches straight away. So if I was playing one of these patches, what's going to happen when we change it? Actually, nothing happened. The great thing is, it only makes the new sound when you play new keys. So I never lost the original sound. So if I hold this one and move to the next one, the sounds have changed, but the original sound is still there until I start playing new notes. So, just like a real hardware synthesizer now. So there's nothing now that we don't have on software that we used to have on our hardware. So it makes life really, really easy. And you can match these up and put all your sounds in wherever you want, come up with all your synthesis, store them in, and just use it as a real-time synth. So we'll see what happens. This is Chris from Florida Music Company, and so catch us on the next one. Thanks very much.